They got some talent, man, across the board. Could they use some more talent? Yes, but that just came courtesy of the Montreal Canadiens, Lepore, who traded Tyler Toffoli to the Calgary Flames for a package including a first-round pick, a fifth-round pick, prospect Emil Heineman, and forward Tyler Pitlick. So they have some reinforcements, or at least one reinforcement on the way so far. So this team is looking pretty legit, man.
Yeah. And I kind of totally forgot Toffoli was with Sutter in LA. Kind of dawned on me later on. I'm like, oh, there you go. Brought him in. Wonder if he has any other Kings or former Kings circle they'd like to bring into the lineup. But I think it's a great move. It's a great move. At the end of the day, there's nothing negative you could say about it from the Flames standpoint. They got a guy who can score. They got a guy with term. They got a guy who has shown in the playoffs he can be an integral part of a run. And Toffoli just seems like a guy as well, too, that is liked in the room. He seems like a guy who is easy to play with on a line. So all positive from the Flames side. How do you feel about what they gave up? I will ask you.
I don't mind what they gave up because I think you had to expect that a first round pick was going back.
Yeah, no brainer.
You just go back over the past couple of trade deadlines. You see some of the players that have gone for first round picks, whether it's Blake Coleman, Barclay Gaudreau, Nick Foligno. What was the Foligno package? A first and 2 fourths?
Something like that.
The Leafs paid something in that range. So you knew a first round pick was going in. It's a top 10 protected pick. Now, I don't think Calgary is going to finish in the bottom 10 unless they do a complete nosedive. So I don't mind what they gave up. And then obviously they threw in a fifth rounder, which whatever, it's a fifth round pick. That prospect, I don't know too much about Emil Heineman, to be honest with you, but I mean, I don't think he's that good.
He's been traded twice already because I think, if I remember correctly, he was a second round pick of the Panthers. And I think he was in that Sam Bennett deal.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And then now he's getting moved again. He's one of those like Swedish elite league guys who, I mean, everyone dreams about being incredible, and more times than not doesn't work out. But as you said, you raise your eyebrows to a guy getting traded twice, but he's a second round pick. Maybe Montreal can figure it out.
Yeah. And so I think it's a really good trade for the Calgary Flames. And then when you consider his contract as well.
Oh, great
contract. How he still has 2 years after this season at $4.25 million. So it's a really good number for Tyler Toffoli. And he's a guy who's going to come in, and it's not like you're expecting him to carry the load. He's going to be a complementary piece to the offensive stars you already have. And he's a guy who's a 4-time 20-goal scorer. He can get hot. He can go on a run. He can score, 3 goals over 2 games in the playoffs. He's got a great shot. So I think it's a great guy to insert either in their top 6. You could play him on the third line. You can play him on the power play. I like Tyler Toffoli. I think he's a good player. Again, I don't think he's, necessarily moving the needle in a big way by any means, but I think it's a really nice complementary piece for this team to add, a team that I think right now is trying to win the Stanley Cup. Because another thing, Lepore, next season, Johnny Gaudreau is an unrestricted free agent. Andrew Mangiapane, RFA. Same thing with Oliver Shillington, who's emerged this year as a really nice defenseman for them. And Matthew Tkachuk, he also needs a new contract. So you have all these guys who need new contracts next season. That could be a mess for Calgary. So I think they're looking at the situation and saying, you know what? We got a really good team this year. This Western Conference really isn't that good. Something that me and you have talked about on a number of podcasts recently. So they're saying, you know what? Screw it. Let's try to win the damn thing right now.
Think they're done?
I don't think they're done. I think you bring up a good point. I think they definitely have some more moves that they're looking at. Again, I don't know exactly what players they're looking at. I would imagine they probably want to bring in another defenseman.
Someone said Giordano.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know cap-wise what they'd have to do to figure that out, but that'd be cool.
Get Giordano back?
Buddy, Giordano, Toffoli, and Mangiapane. I might have to become a Flames fan.
We might have to order our Flames jerseys.
Yeah, man. But I'll ask you again, too. There's obviously the Knights, like they have some injuries. Mark Stone just went on LTIR. Eichel's on his way. Are the Flames the favorite in that division to come out? Would you bet on the Flames right now?
I would probably bet on them to win the division.
I think so too. I'd bet on them in the playoffs. I think they're built for the playoffs.
And you said it, man. This team is so built for the playoffs. Like, you just think about Daryl Sutter's teams from the past and the way that they play, especially come playoff time. Those Kings teams, physical, fast, aggressive, great goaltending. You're seeing the same thing now. And again, I didn't think this team would be this good. And listen, a part of it is definitely Daryl Sutter, and they've bought into his system. But when Johnny Gaudreau's having a bounce back season like this, when Kachuk is playing this well, and you got this team playing so well on both sides of the puck, this is going to be a very scary outcome playoff time. And yeah, right now, that Pacific Division, I mean, I would imagine it's either Vegas or Calgary who's going to win the division. Just talking about the regular season. Like, I think we could write off Edmonton at this point. I mean, call us crazy if we're going to write them off with, 40 games left or whatever. But
no, it's not crazy.
If you're a betting man right now, I think it's either Calgary or Vegas. And who knows how Vegas is going to look like. Obviously, Eichel's coming back. You know how I think about Eichel. Like, I think he's an absolute star. But with Stone going on LTIR, they're bringing in a star and they're losing a star. And this Calgary team is completely healthy right now. All their stars are healthy at least. So, yeah, man, I think I'm on the Flames to win the Pacific Division as well.
Yeah. We know Vegas will add just because that's their style. They'll add at the deadline. But you know what has to happen? The Flames have to play the Oilers in the playoffs, whether it's the 2-3 or the Flames win the division and the Oilers get a wild card. Please, for the neutral, let that one happen. Because too, the storyline, right? If the Flames come in all hot, Connor McDavid and co knocks them out. That's a big story. That's awesome. And then they'd have momentum. I mean, I wouldn't bet on that happening based on the lineups, but I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that. Bring it on. And it would guarantee a Canadian team in the second round, which is always good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. We need more Canadian teams to make some runs here, but you said it, man. That would be incredible for the fans, for the sport of hockey, to see a Flames Oilers playoff series.
Fans should be fully back by then too. So let's go. Rock and roll.
Oh my goodness. Alberta would just be booming, man. Amazing. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. That would be so awesome to see. I hope it happens now that you bring it up. And I think, like you said, I think the way that it would happen is that 2-3 matchup. I mean, Calgary could win the division and then play Edmonton as a wild card seed, but could happen as that 2-3 matchup in the Pacific Division. So we'll keep our eye on that.
By the way, I looked up the record for most shutouts in a season. Again, it's a show full of Italians. 1970, Tony Esposito of the Chicago Blackhawks and man, this number for 1970, 15.
Wow, 15 shutouts
in
1970.
I thought it was going to be one of the goalies in like the dead puck era, the trap era, but no, in 1970, 15 shutouts. That's something, man. I mean,
that
Markstrom,
is insane.
That for Markstrom to get 7 more. If he does, he deserves it. I mean, that's the case, but that's a hell of a record.
That's incredible. I would have guessed like Hasek or Brodeur.
Yeah, like
because I think I feel like one of them hit double digits for sure, either once or maybe multiple times. So I thought maybe one of them had the record, but man, Tony Esposito, 15 shutouts.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.